guys, and welcome to our channel. Guys, I'm so excited for today's video. I'm gonna be answering just so many questions about cutting and then the proper way to cut if you're personally like ready to enter a cutting phase. Just kind of like, how do you maneuver that? How do you go about that? Like, what are the steps that you take if that is your goal? We put a poll up on our Instagram story about a week ago. I just like wanted to know what questions you guys have in regards to metabolism, metabolic adaptation, going through a cutting phase, XYZ. So I'm excited to touch base on some of those. Okay, you guys, I have my cues here. So I'm gonna answer some of those while I eat. The first question I'm gonna start with is Bryn Gerber. How to know when your body is ready to start cutting. So a lot of you may not want to hear this, you guys, but I feel like so many like women especially, they may not be in a proper position to go under a full-on cutting phase, just because metabolically a lot of women undereat and they have been like restrictive for like so long, for such a long duration of time. So during that process of like restricting calories, your body naturally adapts to your calorie intake, meaning that you experience metabolic adaptation. It's our body's natural way of saying like, hey, I'm not getting enough calories, I'm not getting enough food, I don't have enough energy, I need to like slow things down. So when you're under a state of metabolic adaptation and you're already eating such a low amount of calories, it's kind of like you have nowhere to turn, right? Like if you're eating around 1200 calories but your goal is weight loss, it's like you can't possibly continue to decrease and decrease and decrease in a healthy manner at all, both mentally and physically, hormonally, all of that. It's just obviously not ideal, right? But the amazing thing is you also experience metabolic adaptation in reverse. So if this is you, you can reverse the process by going through a process called reverse dieting. But for those of you that are ready to enter a cutting phase, I would say you would be able to kind of tell or distinguish if you are ready by the amount of calories that you're currently consuming, how you feel just like mentally around food, if you've been able to adhere to your current calorie intake without being super restrictive. I would also say if you've been sitting around like maintenance calories or a calorie surplus for a duration of time for more than just a couple months, and you have like just the mental freedom and like you're not super food focused and you're ready to push yourself and take on that mental challenge of decreasing calories and being a little bit more nitpicky with the foods that you're consuming and being able to say no to things and really just be disciplined in regards to your calories and also your cardio and your training routine. For me, I take cutting pretty seriously. Like I want to get in and get out, but I also am sure to take the process pretty slow just to maintain my strength and size. But if you're looking for weight loss and you know that you're metabolically in the position to decrease calories substantially while being able to adhere to them, because if you're already eating low calories, you guys, and you want to decrease your calories and you can't adhere to that calorie deficit, then you're not going to be getting the results that you want to, right? So in order to see weight loss, in order to see progress, you need to be in a calorie deficit. And if you can't adhere to your calorie deficit, then you may not be in the position to be focusing on weight loss or be focusing on pushing yourself into a calorie deficit. There's question number one, a little bit long. I'll try and be a little bit quicker. This is a really good question, just how to stick to your cut when you're the only one in the household eating that way, from Earth2_Elise. Honestly, you guys, obviously you guys have all heard the verse, like you are who you surround yourself with. But if you're serious about your goals, I think it's important that you can be responsible enough to choose healthy foods that are in the fridge. You can prepare ahead of time. I think that having your protein cooked in bulk and then also just having staple meals that you can implement throughout the week would really help. And then I know it can be kind of like a hard conversation, say if you're like families making a full-on 4-course meal that's like filled with sauces and butters and oils and just you're unsure of like what's in it. I think it's okay, and it's having a balance and having boundaries with yourself to be able to say no sometimes. And just, I feel like it could also be just like respected, like, okay, well, once they see you continuously like doing your thing, staying on top of your goals and staying on top of your nutrition while getting to where you want to be, they're going to be like, oh, okay, like this is why, you know what I mean? So I think just doing it for yourself and trying your best to not let your family's kind of observations or assumptions dictate where you want to go. Another extremely common question, you guys, was, do you take creatine during a cutting phase? Yes, you guys, we take creatine year round. There is so much new, exciting research and development of just how creatine positively affects your overall health, your brain health, your heart health. It can be extremely beneficial for also plant eaters just because creatine is typically found in meats, and obviously vegan or plant-based eaters aren't consuming any animal products. There's so many myths that it causes acne, causes hair loss. Those are not true, you guys. Our bodies naturally make about 2 grams of creatine every single day, and our bodies naturally discreet, so we flush out 2 grams daily. So I'm always certain, and it is recommended by most professionals in this space and researchers, that we supplement with about 5 grams of creatine monohydrate every single day. We use the brand True Creatine by Peat Science. Been using them for years, and I try my best to take it every single day. I'm very excited, like I said, for the research that's been coming out about True Creatine, because I know there's so many myths around it. It is safe for women, it is safe for men, it has extremely positive benefits, and there's also new studies coming out with ties to like anxiety and depression. I'm not going to go super into that topic because it's still newly being researched, but I just think it's absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited that there's just so much more truth coming out about the supplement. I just got done training, you guys. I'm grabbing some food at a local market. I'm gonna answer a question before I head in. This question is from Colleen. Best way to maximize muscle growth? I would say the 3 fundamental things that you should be focusing on if you're trying to maximize muscle growth is fueling your body, so eating enough food, eating in a calorie surplus. That is the most optimal way to gain muscle mass when you're following a structured training program that focuses on progressive overload, which if you have a coach or you're following a program, that should absolutely be the forefront of the program, throughout the program. And then compound movements, multi-joint movements that are going to be utilizing more than one muscle group at a time. Those are the exercises that will give you the most bang for your buck. And then I would say getting enough sleep. Food, fueling your body, following a structured training program that focuses on both strength and hypertrophy, and then sleep. Of course, like managing your stress also plays a role in that, but I would say those are the top 3. Gotta be okay with a little bit of extra fluff too if you're looking to put on muscle mass. You can absolutely build muscle at maintenance calories and or even a calorie surplus, like if you're a beginner in the space, but most optimally you will be building muscle in a calorie surplus. Here is my post-workout meal. I did sweet potato, and then I'm having a little bit of salmon. This is typically my go-to meal if I don't have time to go home and grab food. And this is how I logged this meal in the app MyFitnessPal. So it came out to about 41 grams of carbs, 14.7 fat, and then 55 grams of protein. And then I added a little bit of extra fat just because I know that there's a little bit of oil in here, and then I know there's a little extra in here. So I would rather be a little bit over. This meal is delicious, and I get it about once a week. What should you do if you feel you're hitting a plateau with your fitness results? I would really analyze your calorie intake if you're in this position. Either set your calories to maintenance and push yourself a little bit harder in the gym, making sure that you're getting enough sleep as well. Typically, if you're hitting a plateau, you may not be nourishing your body as it needs to be nourished, especially if you're lifting weights. I feel like a lot of people do end up under eating. And then you can also change up your style of training, change up your rep ranges. You don't want to stay in one segment of rep ranges for too long, because your body obviously adapts to exercise and performance. So switching it up from time to time can be extremely beneficial. I answered the plateau question in the car, and I feel like I left like half of the answer out. But another thing I just want to touch base on is if Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday you're on top of your ish, and then Saturday comes around and you you go way overboard, or Sunday comes around and you go way overboard, you're having drinks with your friends, you're having ice cream, cookies, cake, whatever it is, you're most likely going to be pushing yourself into a calorie surplus over the course of the week. So if you're eating like 1,600 calories Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, you're eating like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories, that's most likely gonna push you into calorie surplus. Therefore, weight loss will not take place. How often do you cut, and for how long each cutting period? I'm Roxy. I haven't cut in like over a year and a half. I like spending the majority of my life and my time either sitting around maintenance calories and or a slight calorie surplus. It enhances my overall quality of life, and I do kind of like being a little bit thicker from time to time, but it's summertime here and I've also spent so much time around maintenance calories or a calorie surplus, so I just kind of want to reveal the work that I've put in, the muscle that I've built, just because it's fun. It's something that I am able to challenge myself with, and it's just a new goal, so it makes it just enjoyable. The other half of that question was, how long do you personally cut for? Kat and I personally have taken our cuts extremely conservative and slow in the past, and that's what I'm doing this cut as well. When you drop your calories or when you increase your cardio too quickly out of the gate, it's just your body, like you'll see weight loss, of course, but then your body adapts to that. So if I start out doing like 5 days a week of cardio and I drop my calories by 500 right out of the gate, I'm gonna see results, of course, right? But then you're gonna hit a wall and you have nowhere to really turn to. You're gonna have to continue doing more cardio. You're gonna have to decrease your calories lower and lower and lower to reach that fat loss goal. So a typical cut can last anywhere from, you can do like a mini cut for 4 weeks. You can increase up to like 16 weeks, 24 weeks. I personally feel like I will land somewhere between like 16 and 24 weeks because I also like taking diet breaks throughout the duration of my cut, meaning that I will return my calories to about maintenance calories and or a little bit higher, just to mentally give my body and mind that reset. And then taking diet breaks also stalls the process of metabolic adaptation. So I'm trying my best to maintain my metabolic state throughout this cut, and taking diet breaks does stall that process, which makes me happy just because I've worked very hard to get my metabolism into the state that it is in. It's not exactly where I want it to be, but my maintenance calories are landing around 2,200 calories at the moment, and I'm very, very satisfied when I'm eating that amount of food. Like if I were to be eating any more than that, I would honestly just like be a little bit uncomfortable, I feel. So that's where my maintenance calories are sitting at, and then a typical cut can last anywhere from 4 to, upwards of even 24 weeks, but I will probably land in between the 16 and 24 week mark, which I'm just excited about. Was how do you know when you should do a cut versus a body recomp? So depending on what your goals are, if you are looking for overall weight loss, overall fat loss, and you want to reveal just a little bit more muscle, aka tone, I don't like using that word ever, but just like revealing the muscle that you have gives you that more just like sculpted look, then I would suggest a cut. But it also depends on where your calories currently lie. And then in regards to a body recomp, if you're looking to kind of like build a little bit while staying leaner and not putting on like excess body fat, then I would absolutely recommend a body recomp. And when you're going under a body recomp, you're going to be eating somewhere around like maintenance calories and or a slight calorie surplus, which you can see like major progress with. That's what I was personally doing about the last year and a half. I was eating around maintenance calories, slight calorie surplus, and I feel like I didn't necessarily like intend to do a body recomp, but I definitely added muscle mass where I wanted to add muscle mass while keeping a leaner physique, which was incredible for me. And it's a very common stage that I feel like a lot of people could really benefit from. This is a really good question. How do you enter a cutting phase? So personally, I have been sitting at maintenance calories, and I decreased my overall calorie intake down by 300, and then I also implemented a few extra days of cardio. I don't like going into a cut extremely aggressive, just because, as you guys know, our bodies adapt to our calorie intake and then also our performance and exercise. So I don't want to kind of like leave myself having to do more and more like too quickly right out of the gate. So I personally start out a bit conservative. Another good question was, do I consume back the calories that that I burn during exercise. No, you guys, you don't. When you are looking at weight loss, or I guess depending on your goals. So if you're looking at weight loss, you want to make sure that you're burning more calories than you're consuming throughout each day. And then if you're looking for muscle gain, then you will consume back a bit of the calories that you burn during exercise, and a good range for that to just enhance the muscle building process while still keeping fat gain to a minimum, if that is your goal, would be to consume about 300 to 500 calories above your maintenance calorie threshold. Another good question is, how do I find my maintenance calories? You guys, there are certain formulas that I personally use, and then there's also just calculators that you can use online to give you just a gauge of where your maintenance calories lie. It's not gonna be like to the exact T, but you can just get a rough estimate. Another tip that I could recommend you guys is calculating your macros. If there was a freaking June bug again. Calculating your macros and the amount of calories that you eat for roughly 7 days or so, and just see kind of like the average amount of calories, carbs, protein, and fats that you're eating. And if you are able to maintain your weight throughout that process, that will be roughly your maintenance calories. If you're losing weight, you may be in a slight calorie deficit. If you're gaining weight, you may be in a slight calorie surplus. So I feel like that's kind of like a true, honest recommendation if you want to see where your true maintenance calories lie. And then, like I said, there's also formulas that I use that are in our programs. Find your basal metabolic rate, and then you multiply your basal metabolic rate by your activity level to get your total daily energy expenditure. I'm not going to dive super into detail because it can just get a bit confusing when I'm speaking about it vocally, but I know that there's resources online where you can just simply find out where your maintenance calories lie. When cutting, do you cut more from a certain macro group specifically, or just overall? This is a really good question, you guys. When I'm focusing on weight loss, I keep my protein targets pretty dang high just because I want to reserve the muscle that I've built. So I'll keep my protein targets high, and then I typically drop my overall carb intake. I personally love carbs. I like eating a higher carb intake, and I personally don't like dropping my fats below 25%. Typically going through like a bulk reverse diet, I substantially increase my carbs, so I know I have room to decrease those when looking to lose overall body fat. Okay, you guys, I think that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun just answering your guys' questions. I know this process can be a bit confusing, and I hope I was just able to speak in a way that was understandable, and I hope you're able to take something away from this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to doing more of these and maybe answering questions like a little bit more like quick and rapid and not so detailed. So let me know what you like. Do you like the more detailed, or would you like just like a little bit just like quicker to the T, quicker answers, if you will. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for your girls, and we will be sure to see you in the next video.